Mario, I'll give you a couple seconds. We still have the assemblyman in here, and I have one big question for you before you go.
Okay.
But Mario, your take on this, and you can't. I know you've been against this thing. You've been saying this was all going to go up in flames. At the end of the day, though, you live here. You got to be hopeful that we can make this thing work for this area because it's a game changer for us.
Yeah, I'm certainly hopeful that things work out, but the way I see things going now, I live here, but I don't make my money here. I bring my money into this area telecommuting because I long ago gave up trying to find work around here. There's nothing going on if you're in my field, so I had to kind of
okay, but beyond
overall,
that,
I would like to see it successful, but everything I'm seeing is just more and more of a disaster. I think it's just crazy. And then, you sit there and you interview these politicians, and they come on, and they can only say positive things, and they attack anybody that says, you could say to a lot of people up here, you could say, hey, it's raining outside, and they'll attack you. They'll viciously, they'll insult you, they'll do whatever they can to get off the subject.
Mario, I can take you on a sunny day. I can put cotton candy in your hand and throw you $3,100 bills, and you're going to give me some story about how it's really raining out and you're broke. I mean, you are negative, period, and there's no positive there. I mean, there's none.
Bill, pragmatism rules. I'm pragmatic. I can't believe in fairy tales. You remember it's been...
Is this an I told you so moment?
The OD timeline, 18 years we've been told this was coming. I think it's time now, especially in light of what happened, that people did an accounting, starting with Steve DeMio and Mr. Brindisi, all these people that got nothing but positive things to say about it. Well, it's great that you got something positive, but I don't understand where, you refuse to acknowledge anything. I could do their interviews for them. They're not going to say anything bad about the governor. Does this look pretty bad for the governor? Oh, not necessarily.
No, I think he did. I think I want to go. I can't. I got to listen, Mario. What does this sound like to you? I can't deal with it. Answer that. I thought Brindisi spoke very candidly and talked about the fact that this we don't know. When I asked him, is the governor going to survive this? His answer wasn't, yes, he is. Yeah. He said, I don't know. Only time will tell.
That's exactly right. That's what
is this a time for us to gang up and say, I told you so, everybody's corrupt, this is terrible?
And that's exactly what we can't let happen, because if we start pointing fingers at each other and yelling at each other, this thing will collapse. And it's a time for us to get together. And as I said when I started, I think we should get the community leaders, the political leaders together in a room. Here's where we are. Here's what we need to do. Let's get on message.
Let's everybody work together and try to make it happen.
Yes.
Yeah. And I do have to say, I look to you because you're not all in. You're from Herkimer County, so you've been a little bit out of this process.
Right. That's exactly right.
And I always look to you to say, what are your thoughts? Because I know I'm getting it straight, at least from what you believe and what you know. And is this project? I mean, clearly, what has been built up there, there's a reality. To say this thing doesn't exist, it's all built on it's a house of cards is ridiculous. However, the fact that it could come down is also possible.
We're at a critical stage. We're looking for the private investors, the private involvement. The state locals have fulfilled their commitments. They've made this available. Now we have to sell it. And, if we talk negative, if we're negative about it, it's going to make that job much more difficult.
Yeah.
At what point does this reflect on local officials, state representatives, and even, county and city officials? How long before voters or people start, you hear it's going to happen?
How long before they take on the Mario rhetoric?
Well, again, I said yesterday in my comments this morning in the Observer-Dispatch, I think it's incumbent on this governor, this administration, to come out and publicly give us some reassurances that the state is not going to back off on this, that we're going to see this through to a conclusion. I think our local representatives, given the set of circumstances they've had to deal with, have done a good job. We've had some quibbles about the water supply and some other things, but I only bring those things up because I want this done right. I want it planned right, and I don't want any surprises at the end.
Mario says he can't make any money here, and I understand he's got to go outside to There are many people in this boat. There's hope, though, that this could turn everything around.
I would argue you're already seeing some investment in the downtown restaurants coming in because they're anticipating this. They're anticipating an improved economy in this region. Utica is a regional city. I mean, we have an investment here that we need to help protect. And, a negative perspective at this point isn't going to help move that process along.
I want to ask about this Fort Schuyler involvement.
Yeah.
Because to me, and that involves Roanne DeStito.
Well, I believe she was at some point. I don't know if she still is a board member, as was Mr. Calieros. And, I listened
nobody's talking about that today, and I wonder about that.
I listened to Mr. Brindisi's comments, and I certainly agree with him. But he suggested there's no local connection here. Now, it was my understanding that the contracts and the funding for the Buffalo Billion, which is front and center, came through the Fort Schuyler Management Club, which is a local entity, a local nonprofit.
I want to differentiate. The Fort Schuyler Club and the Fort Schuyler Management are two different
Management
things.
Group, yeah. So there is some kind of local connection, and I'm interested in why the media hasn't pursued that.
Yeah.
And it puzzled me at the time, because why would the Buffalo Billion, if that is the truth, why would that funnel through Utica, New York, or this area? So I think there's other questions that
we need
to be
answers to at this point.
And we do need answers.
Yeah.
And just to follow up on your point, if I can give some type of an answer, I mean, the U.S. Attorney and the State Attorney General yesterday didn't really make mention of, and nobody that we know is charged locally. So I guess that's why we're not pursuing, I guess, questions on the Fort management. But it is a question we should ask.
We've heard this thrown around, and we've heard that this was facilitating. That group was facilitating all of this.
Yes.
So if these deals are all being done on the outside. Can this be, the question is, can it be connected to the governor? So far, no. Can it be connected to the Fort Schuyler Management Group? So far,
Mr. Calieros
no.
was
right.
A significant member of
which has to draw you to the conclusion that at least it's a question that has to be asked.
It is.
Yeah, okay, all right.
We'll see what the answer is, hopefully.
All right. Assemblyman Mark Butler, as always,
all right.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Bill. Always a pleasure.